Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're taking a look at Ting-Lue EX, another Paldea evolved deck. This is a deck that actually has been surprising a lot of people in Japan. It's been doing pretty decently so far, and City Leagues, there's actually been a lot of lists coming out for the deck. And yeah, it's just kind of a underrated card that I think people just assume wasn't going to be that strong, but it is actually pretty decent just because of how much support fighting has gotten. Over the past couple of sets, it's gotten Koraidon, it's gotten the chest plates. Fighting has had some pretty good cards getting printed. It's just no good fighting Pokemon to use it. I think Ting-Lue is finally going to be the first pretty good fighting type Pokemon to make use of all these fighting support cards. So we're just going to go ahead and look at the Ting-Lue EX with Koraidon EX deck. Today, starting off, we're going to have 4 copies of Ting-Lue EX, and it's going to have 2 attributes. The first one, which is kind of the main one that makes it pretty good, is going to be the ability that says as long as it's active, all of your opponent's Pokemon, except for Pokemon EX that have damage counters on them, have no abilities. And this is going to be really, really good at shutting off injured Pokemon. It will shut off Comfey, Genesect, the barrel, a lot of these main engines that also even if you put damage counters on a Pokemon V, it will shut that off as well. So you can turn off Starbirth, you can turn off Summoning Star. There's a lot of different things you can turn off with this ability, which makes it just super duper strong. The fact of just being able to turn off almost every single relevant Pokemon. The only thing you can't the only relevant thing you can't turn off is Tanning Units and Psychic Embrace, because those are, of course, an EX Pokemon, but everything else you can turn off, which just makes this just a really, really strong ability lock card. Alongside a pretty decent attack, 3 fighting energy dealing 150 damage. Seems a little bit bad, but you also have a secondary effect being able to put, I think it's 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And this is obviously going to be good for just selectively just turning off your opponent's abilities. So we have a bunch of ways to get damage in play. Obviously, we have the attack. We also have Hawlucha and Gapejaw Bog. Maybe the main ways we're going to be getting our damage in play. But what about our energy? And that's going to come with the Koraidon EX, which we are going to have 2 copies of in here. This card has not seen very much play, but like I was mentioning, fighting Pokemon have gotten a pretty good amount of support recently. And Koraidon EX is one of those cards. We have the ability Dino Cry. Once you're in turn, you can attach up to 2 basic fighting energy from your discard pile to one of your basic fighting Pokemon in play, then your turn ends. Which is kind of like the main thing that makes this card not that good, is that your turn ends. And yeah, that's what's been kind of holding this card back. But other than that, it is pretty decent. Its attack, not bad, does 220 damage for 3 energy, 2 fighting Carlos. And that can be pretty good for knocking things out. Maybe you hit a couple times with your Ting-Lue's attack. Maybe you've used Hawlucha to put damage on them. To Gapejaw Bog, you kind of accumulate damage on one thing and then just kind of blow it up with Wild Impact to end the game. It's pretty cool. You do have 230 HP, which is pretty tanky. The Ting-Lue also has 240 HP, which is very tanky. You can also increase this HP with the Charm of Courage, which makes this deck even better, because then you can have tanky Pokemon as well. So there's a lot of things this deck is going for it. So we got 2 copies of Koraidon EX. Then we have 2 copies of Hawlucha. This is going to have the flying entry that when you bench it, you get to put 2 damage counters, or you get to put 1 damage counter on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This is, of course, just really good for, once again, turning off our opponent's abilities. We can just put it down, tick 2 Comfies, and now they just can't flower select, which is pretty cool. Obviously, you can just put it down, tick 2 Genesects. Like I mentioned, if your opponent's trying to put down 2 Lugia Vs so they can if you put damage on one of them, then you can V-Star power with the other one. Then nope, you can just tick the other one. As well as you can just tick both the Lugia Vs with Hawlucha. So Hawlucha is pretty good. And we have 2 of them because we only actually have one way to directly search them out, and that's Ultra Ball. But other than that, yeah, Hawlucha is really good. Then we have our supporting Pokemon. 1 copy of Squawkabilly EX, which its ability says you can only use it on the first turn, but you get to, once on your turn, discard your hand and draw 6 cards. This is really good for getting energy in our discard pile, so you can use it with, of course, our Koraidon EX. The attack here is actually pretty decent. I believe it is 20 damage for 1 Carlos energy, and you can accelerate 2 basic energies from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, which is also not bad technically, because you can also, that 20 damage poke can technically turn off abilities if you want, later on the line. If you poke something for 20 and then later you put up a Ting-Lue, now that has no ability. and also does accelerate energies. But generally, Donocries can be a better option than actually attacking with Squawkabilly EX. Another way we get energy in our discard pile, we have one copy of Radiant Greninja. I've been noticing a lot of Ting Lu lists in Japan have been playing Radiant Alakazam, which I personally just think Radiant Greninja is so much better just because like you want to get into the game with this deck, you want to be attacking to just put on pressure as much as possible to start placing damage counters with Ting Lu's attacks, just continually shut off their Pokemon's abilities. And Radiant Greninja does help you do that by getting energy to discard pile. We have 4 Battle VIP packs, so you should be able to find it pretty decently. And yeah, Radiant Greninja in the deck. And our last Pokemon is one copy of the new Spiritomb that has its ability, says that just when it's in play anywhere, basically Pokemon if you have no abilities. This is obviously going to be really, really helpful for turning off Genesects. So we're going to have our Spiritomb's ability alongside our damage counters with our Hawluchas, and of course the Ting-Lue's ability, all helping to shut off the Genesect. Yeah, Mew's not going to be drawing cards anytime soon against this deck. Now going into supporter cards, we're going to have 4 copies of Professor's Research. This is obviously discard hand draw 7, which is really, really good. 2 copies of a new supporter, and that's going to be Iono. This is going to be the great new comeback supporter that says both players shuffle their hand, put them on the bottom of their decks, and then draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. So you can punish your opponent for taking prize cards. And in this deck, it's pretty difficult for your opponent to take prize cards just because your guys are so huge. You have like 290 HP Ting-Lues with the Charm of Courage, 280 HP Koraidons. The Pokemon you want to be attacking with do have a lot of HP. And so kind of like forcing that along with the Iono to punish them. And we have 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Just because Gusting is good. And like I was mentioning with our tanky guys, Penny is a pretty good option because we can just pick those Pokemon back up with our Penny. And then finally 1 copy of Judge as just a little bit more hand disruption. Judge is kind of phased out of this meta a little bit just because how good Iono is, but you know that plain Shuffle Draw 4 is still pretty decent. Now going into our item cards here, we're going to have 4 copies of Ultra Ball, which is obviously important for getting our energy discard pile, setting up our board. Similarly, for setting up our board, 4 copies of Battle VIP Pass as well. For setting up our board, we want to get, like, usually our board, we want to get down turn 1 is going to be a Koraidon, a Greninja, 2 Ting-Lues, and, like, save a couple spots for a Hawlucha or 2. And Battle VIP Pass just helps us do that. Oh, also Squawkabilly is pretty good, too. 4 copies of Trekking Shoes. So once again, we want to get those energies in the discard pile. Just 3 copies of Gutsy Pickaxe, just because this card is a little bit less powerful than Trekking Shoes. It can accelerate energy if you're lucky, but that's not really what it's going to be doing most of the time. This card's usually just going to be drawing 1, so that's where kind of playing a different card instead of the 4th copy of it. We've got 2 copies of Escape Rope, because forcing things to the bench, so we can take them with our Hawlucha, we can take them with our Ting-Lue's attack. That's pretty good as well. So we want to get Ting-Lue active. So if we don't start it, then we want to have a way to switch that into the active to turn off our opponent's abilities. Similarly, 1 copy of Switch Guard, just for a little bit of healing, can be nice against Lost Box as well. 1 copy of Nest Ball, just for a little bit more search outs. Then we have our dual cards, which are going to consist of the 2 copies of Charm of Courage and 1 copy of EXP Share. The Charm of Courage, of course, giving our base Pokemon its attached to plus 50 HP. Which, like I was talking about, can bring our Ting-Lue all the way up to 290, Koraidon all the way up to 280. The EXP Share is just pretty good. I've found like when I've tried Koraidon decks in the past, just EXP Share has been just pretty good because Koraidon ends your turn, and you want to have like a way to kind of like continue your energy acceleration. And then our stadiums are going to be 3 copies of Gapejaw Bog for just more damage placements onto our opponent's Pokemon, kind of force them to bump that stadium. And then our energies are going to be 13 basic fighting energies. We want to be able to hit them so we can get them in discard pile, as well as turn attachments are still, of course, important. So we want to have a decent amount of fighting energies in the deck. And yeah, that's going to be the Ting-Lue Koraidon deck. If you guys liked it, don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.